He just said something significant. He said, "Hey, I started as a bouncer." I mean, that's really ground up.
For sure.
Like he knows all aspects of the business.
Yep.
And that's how you got to do it.
So that was actually my next question, right? For somebody, let's say there's a younger guy who spends a lot of time out in the bars and the club, and they're like, you know what? I can see me running a business like this. I can see myself putting my all into it and actually dedicating myself to something like this. Do you think that it's better for them to jump straight into the business, try and go buy, let's say, a bar that's failing and they try to do it themselves? Or do you think it's better for them to start off how you did in the back end, serving the drinks, bringing a promoter? What do you think would be the best route?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get in the trenches. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to get your hands dirty. I can't tell you how many calls, and I like to take calls from my friends, past co-workers that, hey, Garth, you got a second? I want to open up a bar, and I'll take those calls. But if you don't know what the best type of bouncer or door guy should be doing, then how could you ever be the manager of that person? If you don't know what a good bartender should be doing, or a good bar back and loading bottles up and the importance and all this stuff, then you're walking into something completely blind. And there's this funny thing that we always talk about. There's people that want to open up a bar to open up a business, and there's those that just want to open up a bar to like have a bar. And I get it at the end of the day, but you're not going to last more than 3 months. When the bills come knocking, and you've got no money to show for it, and your staff is waiting on payroll, and you can't even get inventory for the next month, and things like that. You got to make your way all the way up. Again, it's just you have to get into the industry. Period.
So do you think that your success came after the fact, that you were able to work like all of the positions within the industry and you knew how to maneuver everything?
Yeah, I think the ability to scale at the rate that we have has to do with being from the bottom up. You could always go out and find investors and open up a bar, and yeah, you've got a bar overnight, but you're not going to be able to open up a second bar. No one's going to give you money for the second or third bar. No one's going to trust you to do it over and over again if you haven't been able to prove every step of the way. Yeah, absolutely.
And you essentially become a slave to the bar.
Yep.
And once again, we acquired a lot of bars in Northside, but we did own one bar in the Heights, and nothing to the level of you guys. It wasn't a club. It was a bar. It was literally all it sold.
A dive bar.
All it sold was a dive bar. It was literally a dive bar because, a lot of people don't know that the Heights was ghetto. The Heights was like really bad back in the days, and so we acquired a bar one time in the Heights, and we took over the bar, and the poor lady that she had owned it for many years, and she had a heart attack. She died. She literally lived across the street from the bar, and she died. And so when we were trying to sustain that bar, it was really tough. She had put her all into it, and the bar really depended on her. Just being loved and liked and known in the area. Mm-hmm. And once she was gone, no matter what we did, it was done,
Yeah. You know what? The fact that you just said that right now reminds me of a place that we have a membership at. And, the reason why we go there is because we like the guy. Well, I
don't like the guy.
I know you don't. But everybody else, right? The reason why we have a membership there is because we like him. But the moment he's not there, it's going to fall apart.
He stole my Cuban cigars.
And I think, hold on, that is not true. We can't say that that's what happened, right? Because we don't have camera or footage like that, right? We don't have proof. But something to say off of what you've always personally said is that the day that you're not here to run the company, does it still run by itself? And I think that's very important. Garth, can you speak to that? Do you have to necessarily be there for it to run all the time?
Yeah, so there's this old saying, let go of the vine. Once you build out your standard operating procedures, this is what everybody needs to do every single day. Here's your job. If you don't do it, then you're not doing your job, and you probably shouldn't be a part of this team. But if everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, then you just put the right people in the right seats, right? And that they're managing these standard operating procedures. It's the same stuff all the time. This is how you open the doors and you close them. But then most importantly is you got to eventually let go of the vine. Once everything's put in place, you got to be able to let go. Trust the people that you put in charge, give them leadership, and show them how to make, critical decisions and the process of elimination, just things like that, like higher level thinking when it comes to business. But you got to let go of the vine. And it's crazy to think, but for the last year and a half, I was running 4 bars from my laptop, you know, and I used to be on the sleeping schedule where, you know, believe it or not, I'd go to bed at like 11 and wake up at 8 a.m. because that was what I thought was good enough, right? Was I can run everything for my bars. I'll have my upper level management meetings, my lower level management meetings. I'll have all my managers meet together with us. Like, you know, here's goal setting and all this. But, you know, you can do that. But you can only run 4 bars without being able to do it all, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about having
Yeah.
those right people in the right seats. The top dogs, finding the good operators.
And you know what? It's crazy that you say that. Well, I'm gonna let you go, Flor, but let me just say this real quick. Like the fact that I never looked at a bar was simply because I've never thought about opening up a bar, but I never looked at it like as a business, right? Like the same structures
Yeah.
and procedures that he's talking about right now is what we have in place and things that we're putting into place in order for us to continue to grow and create better managers like within our own company here, right? But yeah, that was just a side note of what I observed right now, which was crazy because I never thought about it like that. But go ahead, Flor.
I was gonna ask that how hard has it been to find the right people, to find those right qualities on the right people. Has that been like a roller coaster?
Yeah, I mean, finding a good operator is the most important thing in the entire business model, right? And there's very few in between people that you can trust to run the entire business on their own. Like I'm not getting calls about scheduling or payroll or where's my W-2 at. That all gets trickled down up to our managers, but at the end of the day, they have to they all come from within. You know what I mean? You groom them up, you teach them. Hopefully they don't have old habits from other bars or owners that didn't care for the staff or cared for the people that came in, their customers. So it's like a delicate balance between finding a rookie in the industry that's hungry enough to pursue it long term, but give them enough incentive to know that this is potentially a long term move for them.
You know what? I love this conversation because I just had it with my barber today. Because he's growing. He just opened a new shop down here in Midtown, Golden Edge Barbershop. Dude does great. Check out the fade. Yeah, you see
that.
it? You
I
like
can
it?
see the reflection.
Yeah. And he does a great job, so go check him out. But with the same conversation we had, he has this, he's looking to grow, right? He's trying to fill up his barbershop. And he's like, man, I don't know if I just want to hire newer guys and teach them the way that I do business or hire experienced guys and have to go through the headaches of the bad habits that they have. I think that's something that we actually deal with as well within our brokerage.
Yes.
Having newer agents, which to me, it's a lot more work that you put into these guys, but you teach them how you want them to be. Versus, I'm pretty sure you can speak to this, Nate, is having somebody who is, we could say it's a top producer in their own right, but when they come here because they need extra help, they just don't take it.
No, they don't. But what's funny is that I had a and once again I always say this, right? I always say that I'm not a self-made man, right? I hate when people say I'm self-made. It's not true. You learned from somebody, and one of the reasons that I've been successful is because I depend on other people. And then in the same way, when they depend on me, they lean on me, I lean on them. We help each other out. But one time I had this old school guy, just old school sales guy, and he told me one time. He said, let me ask you a question. He said, if you die tomorrow, he said, will this company keep on? And I sat there and I literally thought about it and I was like, man, I don't know. I mean, no, nobody can do what I do. And he said, well, then you don't have a company. And I was like, what? He said, you don't have a company. He said, if it all depends on, if it all lives and dies on your, lap, or you're doing everything, then you don't have a company. And that shook me. That shook me to the core, and it made me, or it helped me, start releasing more responsibilities, start delegating more things, and start me being more sustainable to where I started trusting people to do things, But with that, and that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, right? I don't know if this is the same thing. You always have people coming for the throne, for lack of better words, right? You always have some hotshot, young guy comes in, makes a few, closes a few deals, whatever, and he thinks he can do what you do. I mean, I literally had one about 2 years ago, right? Had to fire this guy, because he came in and he thought he could do what I can do, and it's like, no. You can't do what I do, Stop trying to do this, Do you have the same problems whenever it comes to running your business?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's inevitable at the end of the day as far as guys wanting to be great, do their own thing, and then, it's inevitable. And it's so funny because, we've got DJs in these college bars, for example, right? Like, we find guys that aren't even DJs. They're just cool fraternity bros that are really nice and have a lot of friends. And then I'm like, hey, bro, go learn how to DJ, and I'm going to pay you for it. So he sits in his room and learns how to DJ, and he's really bad, but we still put him up there because people come. He's cool. He parties. He knows what people like, the music. What's crazy is that, we got this guy for a year max, because he becomes a DJ. Everyone starts to hire him. He goes to all these bigger bars, bigger cities, and goes on this tour and all this. At the end of the day, it's inevitable. We tell him, like, look, it's not if, but when you blow up, like a good photographer, videographer, content creators, like, we're going to work together, but you're going to make great stuff. You're going to be better than me, or, someone's going to pay you more, and best of luck. Just don't forget about us little people,
Yeah.